Igbo mụrụ nze m ọzọ ekene m unu otekwala ahụ ọka bụ mụ onwe nwanne unu nwoke akpanakpana sụkụọ from Biafran Radical Freedom TV. Biko n'erighị mgbe unu ọ ga-amasị m na anyị ga-atụle uche na ihe na-eme na ala obodo anyị. Our land is bleeding. There are serious problems. Nsogbu dị ọ na-ada kitikiti katakata right now in our land. But it doesn't appear those who are supposed to be the custodians, ndị na-elekọta ala Igbo, the people anyị na-ele anya as ndị igwe, ndị eze, ndị ọdịnala. Things are happening. About 5 days ago, the internet space was agog with the development in Ghana, where some Ghana citizens were, mad at some of our people's behavior. Yes, a lot of people have tried to weld into that matter. People say different things, people held different positions. But there is something that is of interest to me. The thing which is what I want to discuss here. And this video will not be lengthy. The action of the Traditional Rulers Council in Igbo land, Ndieze, they stepped into the matter immediately and they banished. They said they have banished everything that has to do with diaspora, kingship, Igbo kingdom, chiefdom, Igbo affairs. That is what I am interested in. I am interested in this very matter because every passing day in Igbo land, on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday, on Saturday, and on Sunday again, all the days of the week, all the 4 days of the 4 market days in Igbo land, evil activities are happening. Cases of kidnaps, murder, fighting, rituals, social mayhem, antisocial things, anti-people activities, anti-human things. Every kind of evil is happening in our land. But of all this, the most disturbing is that of the invading terror organizations that the government of Nigeria choose to give a soft landing name: bandits, cattle rearers. When you push harder, they will tell you cattle rustlers, a community clash. What have you, the Igbo people, done to salvage the situation? Oh yes, the Igbo people were having issues in Ghana. Oh, the internet space was agog. Wonderful, thank you for wading into that matter. But I want to ask, is that issue as disturbing as the menace in our land? Nobody, Enugu State now, different communities in Enugu already have, deserted their land. Ahamufu's case have remained. How many times have the Traditional Rulers Council called a meeting to summon Peter Mba? Why are you selling land and arresting people who oppose the sale of land to the terror organizations in Enugu? The Traditional Rulers Council, as super active, as proactive, as reactive as you are showing to us today that you are, why haven't you welded into that matter in Enugu? Imo State is now a tradition. It's now a tradition since the incoming of the Supreme Court puppet, the Fulani puppet in Imo State government house. Now, what is it? what is happening there in Imo State? How many times have you, this good, proactive and reactive traditional rulers council, how many times have you summoned the hopeless Uzodimba to ask him questions? That you have never done. But you are running into what is happening in Ghana. People will clap for you. You have banished every diaspora. So we should be clapping for you. Oh, you're active traditional rulers council. We clap for you. Oh, you are Obiachebe. You are this. That you heard that Igbo people's shops were destroyed and all of that in Ghana or whatever, they are asked to go out. What have you were watching over the internet space where the twist of these whole stories have endured for too long. And most of you who are stepping up now as you are coming to wedding, what have you done? Was it not the same destruction of the Igbo people's markets and businesses in Lagos this year, last year, since after the 2023 selection, they called election? How many times have you as traditional rulers also looked? Is it not you can't fix your house? You are not even a married man, you don't know anything about it, you want to go and cancel people. The Igbo traditional ruler council, Ohaneze Ndoshi, haven't you heard that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was supposed to be released about 4 days ago? Haven't you, shown busybody as if you are interested in having Nnamdi Kanu released? Is it possible that you people come together with this kind of activity? You come together strong and you demand for the release of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, and he's not released today. And the government of Nigeria kept gambling. They kept gambling with him. You were there. The Kenyan Federal High Court charged Nigerian government, stating that Nigerian government was guilty and of course should compensate Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. The 3 different courts of Nigeria even asked Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, just like the Kenyan High Court, to compensate Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Different judgments. What have you done to show you're active? When they were bringing IDP camp to Imo State last 2024, they were moving IDP camp to Imo State. What did you, as a group of the custodians of the tradition of the people who we should respect, who deserve, how did you deserve our, when this happened, when they made that decision to bring that IDP camp to Imo State, what did you do? If not that Simon Ekpa reacted to stop it, what did you do? Igbo land is not good for any federal presence. No ministry should be located in Imo State, in Igbo land. No department of the federal government should be located in Igbo land. No international airport is good, is worthy to be in Igbo land. No international seaport is worthy to be in Igbo land. Nothing that is of good, of benefit, is good to be. They are now even telling you of allocation of two more states to each region. If not for our Lex Oti demanding that there is no need for, rather there should be balancing, that the 5 southeastern states deserve to have additional 1 at least. If the Northwest is having 6, that on a balance 1 more should be added to others. Why 2 to Southeast? You Ohaneze proactive, Ohaneze Ndibo, the chief, the kings, the traditional rulers council. Why didn't you speak up? Why didn't you speak up? Now I want you to listen to what people of reasoning are saying. Every place, the people in diaspora, I even want to even ask you, all the years you have been hearing the twist of history, that, oh, the Ghana must go. The Nigerian people asked Ghana to go. Ghana must go. And it was the Igbo people and all of that. Since they were twisting that, giving that narrative, what did you active people do? Because they are now saying it was Igbo people. Now that Nigeria must go also in Ghana, and that it is Igbo people. And all of you are very old people, very old. Okay, is it that you did not know what transpired? The incidents of Ghana must go, was it not reciprocating to what happened immediately after Kwame Nkrumah was deposed in office in 1966 through a military coup? That man now declared, the man that carried the coup declared an anti-Nigerian policy, and he called it alien. Way over 144,000 people, 44,000 Nigerians and Igbos predominantly, were moved out of Nigeria, out of Ghana. Kwame Nkrumah, who gave the policy that empowered the Nigerian people there, did so because it was very instrumental to the growth of Ghana as hitherto. You people in the Okinyarana did not in any way try to bring to the public notice that what happened was not Igbo anything. It was Nigerian government reacting to what they did. The first people that did was Ghana. Because Igbo people's businesses in Ghana were taken away from them. As the then coup leader who succeeded in Nkrumah came to destroy all the policies of Kwame Nkrumah. All through the 1960s, the Igbos who were given within a period of 1 year maximum, about 1.5 million Nigerians who were predominantly Igbo were moved. They were the ones who were, hitting up, improving the Ghana economy, which was why the Nkrumah's policy favored them, because they were adding value to the economy of Ghana. All of you were watching the twist of history. Ghana must go. Now Ghana wants to pay back. Who started it? But leaving that, now you are reacting because this thing happened in Ghana. I am not here to side. After all, there's one of our brothers, a Nollywood veteran. He condemned the loudness of our Igbo people sometimes. We are very lousy, sometimes we are too loud. But then, even at that, must you consider the Igbos, your fellow Africans, as aliens? When we have seen different video clips of where you were, celebrating people from different climes entirely. The Ghana people, why didn't you question the Ghana people who were making the noise? Where we saw different video clips where they were given kingship titles, traditional titles, extolling people from different climes. People from Asia, they were extolling them, hyping them, carrying them with their heads, with their shoulders, showing inferiority before these people. And the Nigerian people who were adding value to the Ghana economy, you did not in any way, your own was, because this was the same thing that happened where P2B and a lot of you fools gathered to condemn the girl, the lady, Deborah, in Canada, 2023-24, who reacted to what some people use the social media space to do against the Igbo race. None of you reacted. The lady took it upon herself to say no. You bring it, I give it to you. All of you say, bring her, let us buy her, bring her, we will roast her and use her for suya. Sometimes we do things, we think we want to sell ourselves as saints, as wonderful people, but we end up showing that we are very dishonest and very stupid people. All these things you are doing, how many times did you challenge what the Fulani people are doing in our land? What they are doing with our mothers, our daughters, our children. stopping, obstructing our farming activities. We live in fear in our own land. It is not enough concern for you to address. It is not enough concern for you to address. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu have been tossed around. Like the tornado will toast a nylon or some materials and rags. They've been toasting this legend, this hero of all time. It is not enough to provoke you into action. It is nothing for you to worry about that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, the man who had everything in life, but decided to sacrifice just like Ojukwu did for his people. All of you know the blood of royalty flows in his vein. It doesn't disturb you to do whatever it takes to get him out of there. Now, these people who say they are going to have a speedy adjudication, a very speedy and smooth one, have again adjourned the case to October. You are not disturbed. You are not asking any question. Why should this man be in this, even after the federal government have withdrawn all charges against him? You are not concerned that somebody's own child, somebody's own husband, somebody's own father, somebody's own loved one, people's loved one, is there languishing. He will be there in that solitary confinement till after 2 months where they are going for their recess. They are going for their annual break, and they are just gambling with him, with his freedom. You are comfortable. You are not disturbed. You are not perturbed. It is not enough thing for you to worry about. But you want to go and show you have power. Every activity we have banished, every diaspora, every Igbo. I am not any, it's not my business. I'm here at home. But I want to now ask you, have you controlled the situation here at home? That you want to go into America, you want to go into Antarctica, you want to go into other African countries, you want to go to all the diaspora to wade into their own activities. Everything that the people who are resident in such communities, in such societies do, because they understand the society, they are the ones who determines what happens around this society, how they go about living in that society. Not for you who cannot manage anything here at home. People are running away from their villages. You are there. You are busy even collaborating with people to sell the land. Sometimes even the terror activities, somehow, some of you, if you are not involved, it cannot tarry for 1 month. I am telling you, if you are not involved, clear your own name first. Let us hear what our brother has to tell you. This is a brother Milo. Milo, sorry, I have to use this because you addressed the issue very well to my satisfaction. So please permit me to use your voice note, which was sent to me from someone or by someone who belongs in one group with you.
Yes, this message is done. According to this report, yes, this message is to all Igbos all over the world. Igbo Traditional Council, according to this report, abolishes SND Igbo title for Igbos in diaspora. First of all, Igbo Traditional Council, you need to focus attention on your locality. Your locality is spoiling. And you're talking about diaspora. What do you know about Australia? Igbo Traditional Council. What do you know about America? What do you know about England? What do you know about New Zealand? What do you know about those places that you will stay in Igbo land and control the Igbos there? The Igbos there will act on the circumstances of their domain. What is Eze? Translate the word Eze to English. It means a leader. It can mean a king. Synonyms. It can mean a chief. So trying to control faraway people. Some of these Igbos in America are all Americanized. They are struggling to hold Igbo culture. Now you're sitting in Igbo land telling them what to do. That is, should not be their focus. Your own soil is Baroka. Let me use Igbo statements. Go to the villages where you are the heads and domains. Youths are killing people for stealing bread. Widows are thrown out of their husband's house by the husband relatives and made homeless, and their land, the property or the house is sold. And all of you are sitting down there, these things are happening. You should focus on that. You should focus on the rubbish going on in Igbo land. I know all of you want money. Anybody that brings money, you take. You can't control people in very far away. How do you think America was established? America left Europe, came to America and formed their own government. You think that the Igbos that left in Africa will continue to listen to you guys over there? You'll be lucky if they even continue to speak Igbo. So that should not be your focus. Your focus should be the local. Stop this nonsense, youths running around killing people for a loaf of bread. Stop this nonsense that have cropped up on Igbo land. When a woman loses husband and become a widow, or the relatives will drive her and put her on the street with the children and sell the house. Even when the house is rightfully hers. That is what you people should focus. You should focus on the nonsense. They sell land to somebody. Tomorrow they take it, they say, oh, it's from Usuka. Or they take it, they say, oh, it's from Onitsha. Or they take it, they say, oh, it's from Umuahia. These things are happening in your presence. If you cannot control the locality where you are the chief, how can you control people in America and Britain that their brain has been hijacked due to acculturalization? How can you do that? Most of you are Christian rulers anyway. You don't even know your tradition. So most of you are fake. You don't know your tradition. So you should focus on your locality. Stop the rubbish going on in your locality first before you become relevant, trying to control everybody. You like power. Igbo Traditional Council. What do you know about America? Igbo Traditional Council. Trying to stay in Igbo land and direct people in America. When people will come to your village and buy land, tomorrow you destroy it and say it's from Usuka, or it's from Onitsha, or it's from Aba. Youths will kill people in your villages because they stole bread. Now, nobody wants to marry Igbo girl. All the Igbos in America that you're supposed to be the traditional leader, since you're giving instruction to Igbos in diaspora, their children, they doesn't want to marry Igbo women because they say that they come home and after wine carrying, which all of you are present, they come here, they run away. Have you said anything about it as the traditional council of Igbo land? And all these things are happening, all of you keep quiet. You want to control people that is in America, that half of them is not even Igbo anymore. What's out of your mind?
All right, you heard this. Please, I will still continue this. So let me touch some things he mentioned here. In Igbo land, I am talking to you, the Traditional Rulers Council. If you are an Igbo man, you see this video, Biko, help me to share it until it gets to this our supposendo Kenyaroran. You heard what this man mentioned. There are a lot of things that should be of concern to you. I mentioned many things before now, which include the case of our Supreme Leader Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. This man is now going deeper into different issues that before the coming of white man, Obi, Nobi, Eze. This is where we adjudicate over issues that bothers the people. A widow dies, a man dies. The widow with the children are chased out of the man's house into the street. This is happening almost in every part of Igbo land. You, the Traditional Ruler Council, are blind to this. You are blind to this. And where is now that justice system of the Igbo man? A young man who is hungry steals a tuber of yam and or a loaf of bread. This is stealing. Stealing is stealing, but some stealing are product of hunger. Because of stealing a loaf of bread or a tuber of yam, jungle justice is carried out. Somebody is accused of entering a shop because there is a particular case. I was crying all through some days ago, a particular case in the same Igbo land. A young man was accused of entering a shop and stealing 50,000 naira from a woman. Immediately, she raised the alarm. Touts gathered. This guy was bundled. They threw stone at him, hit him, poured petrol on him, and lighted him up. Jungle justice everywhere in Igbo land. And you, the traditional ruler council, are blind to this. You are blind to this. Jungle justice in Igbo land in 21st century. In 21st century, jungle justice in Igbo land is everyday thing. The governors keep on empowering terrorist hooligans everywhere, every here and there. They keep giving them different names, Hakodo and all sorts of stupid names. They carry out jungle justice every now and then. You, the traditional ruler council, you are not concerned about it. You are not concerned about it. That the people who are living in America, that some other people are waking up to encourage to at least speak Igbo language. Some people who were born there and they have spent over 35 years of their life there. Some of them have not even visited Igbo land again. And they are over there trying to imbue on their children this Igbo culture and tradition. They want this heritage not to evaporate. They are doing everything possible to sustain the Igbo culture and tradition over there. In America, in Switzerland, in Canada, and wherever they are doing these things. All you could do is to wake up because of one incident. Then tell me where this wisdom of yours is lying. Where lieth thou the wisdom you so claim? Some people are trying to sustain the Igbohood. They are trying to pass on to the generations who are not privileged to be at home. They are over there trying to make sure their children are speaking Igbo language, knowing about Igbo culture, even when they are not here. And all you could do is to say you are banishing it. You know, before now, we used to think that whenever some people are considered old by the reason of their age, they are supposed to be men of wisdom. And whenever they have white hairs on their head, they are wise men. Time has proven all this wrong. Time has proven all this wrong. You don't know what you are doing. You don't know anything you are doing. Let us continue to listen to Milo. Mr. Milo, let's listen to you again.
Okay, no area no one about Bill Gates. I beg me at Nigeria. See through Dankote. Now be telling you GMO food. Where is Igbo Council or traditional council? Where are they? They're supposed to have issued an edit. When you did in a village Igbo called GMO seed. About they have not made a statement about it. Bill Gates in Dankote 2029. I got the current I want to add to food after they are independent on Dutch and food. These are the things that they're supposed to put them out. But you be mototo. I let Tinubu. Talking about Bill Gates, Zuwata Nigeria, all Dangote Bawataria, and I mean the billionaire. Billionaire, aloro, where I go. About Adia, we get it in 20 naira. I got you to take them. I can't have what GMO seed. Then I have one day Igbo Traditional Council 2020 naira. I can't tell it. These are the places I suppose you Bachinoge. Make a rule, Nanibo, and make a today with GMO seed. May Rio, but they will not do something like that. There is a one and then why people are there by 11 as slaves again.
All right, Ogamilo, thank you very much. God bless you, because sometimes we do disagree. Of course, we can disagree. That's why some people misunderstand these things, and which is why we are having problem. That you disagree with your brother today, even in our native as Africa, in our native way of life as Africans. We have the traditional ruler council, we have the council of elders. We disagree to agree. We agree to disagree. So thank you, Ogamilo, for this one. It is purely very educating, very, very educative. From the beginning of your voice note to the end. Very, very. Now listening to what Mr. Milo said here. Our traditional ruler council, most of you are educated. A lot of you are educated. Let me say, not most. A lot of you are educated. And you have been hearing the campaign that started since 2023. So a lot of our Igbo doctors, Igbo professors, scientists who live in America, who live in Canada, who live all over the world, they had different programs. It was flying over the social media about the hidden intention, the hidden agenda of this man who said with his cronies that they want to depopulate Africa. And they have been doing everything to carry out this thing. They bring money, they bring what they call aid, and you came again, you hate Donald Trump. This current Donald Trump government, last year or this year, telling you that you said was used to empower evil in Nigeria particularly. And your doctors who are in medical world, in medical field, told you that they carried out a lot of researches about these things, these seeds. They carry researches about what is going on even in the north. That why you have the terror going on in the north is because some communities there refuse to accept the GMO seeds that was brought by this Ikwensu man. They rejected it. Because of that, they were terrorized. Now they are bringing that same GMO seeds in your Igbo land. It is not bothering you. It is not bothering you at all. Now, last week, another Igbo scientist, another strong Igbo scientist, a professor, carried out a research. Maybe, I didn't know if I saved that man's video. I should save it. I saved it. Maybe I should add it here after this program. I should add it in this video. If I see it, I'll add it. Maybe I'll use it to close this video. That this thing, they have carried out research. Why we are having increasing number of kidney failure, having increasing number of cancer in Igbo land right now, in Nigeria right now, is because of these genetically modified organisms. That they chip into all these seeds. GMO seeds you are hearing. But none of you are disturbed. None of you are disturbed. None of you are disturbed. You want to banish, banish, so that the Fulani will be happy. You see how, you are a good tool. You want to just please the Fulani. From my people, please listen. All these people who are pretending, this your Ohanes and Dioshi and the governors, who are pretending to be advocating for the release of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, they are not doing anything. No. They are actually the ones who are there, making sure they stall every avenue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu coming out. They are the ones, so not Tinubu. Tinubu has made up his mind to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Yes. Because he will also be instrumental to his 2027 ambition. But this your people. Hopeless Uzodimba last time said, please hold on, let me finish after my election. After that election till today. Nwamba for now said, hold on please after my election. After his election, another election we hold on. So Nnamdi Kanu will remain there. And we have become so calm. Don't count anyone out, though, including Peter Obi. Don't count anybody out. They are all together in this evil. Don't count anybody out. I think you should listen to this man.
We take this opportunity to apologize to all my Nigerian brothers, both the state and the people of Nigeria, for I did not do justice when I was explaining about Nigeria must go, when I did explicitly explain everything that transpired when it comes to Ghana must go. So Nigeria must go. This is what actually happened. When history is being told, it must be told the right way. For we criticize the West for telling our history sadly for not explicitly explaining what transpired. This is what transpired in Nigeria must go. The entire Africa was one. When Kwame Nkrumah became the Prime Minister of Ghana, up to when he became president, he called on everyone who had money to come and invest in Ghana, that Ghana was open to the entire Africa and Ghana was open for business and they should come and invest. Nigerians, wealthy businessmen, were of 90% of the investors who moved to Ghana to invest. And the population of Nigerians in Ghana by then were up to 2 million Nigerians living in Ghana out of the 2.5 foreigners living in Ghana by then. But when Kwame Nkrumah was overthrown by Kotoka and the rest, then came Busia in power as Prime Minister. When Busia came, he was a staunch opposition to Kwame Nkrumah. He never liked Kwame Nkrumah and the policies. When he came, the very first thing he did was to dismantle Kwame Nkrumah's policy and brought in the Alien Compliance Order. When he brought in the Alien Compliance Order, this seek to sack every foreigner in Ghana, and he knew quite well that of all the foreigners in Ghana, Nigerians were 90% of them, and they were investors and businessmen. They invested in cocoa, invested in infrastructures, invested in all sorts of business, manufacturing, transportation, you name it. So when he passed this order and he gave them a deadline to leave, the Nigerians had no option but to auction all they had, because they were suppressed by the government. And by then Busia passed this law that no foreigner should be engaged in. About 40 businesses he put down that no foreigner should engage in. So the Nigerians had no option but to leave, and it was a bad time in history. Nigeria had to auction their cars. Nigeria had to auction their houses. Nigeria had to auction their businesses, their farm. Most were not even able to auction their businesses. They left it, and the indigenous Ghanaians took over their businesses, their cocoa farm. They lost their lives in custody, and as a result of this, it affected, traumatized the Nigerians. Just imagine you took huge amount of business and money to invest in Ghana, and even when you are leaving, the hard cash money, the money you were supposed to take, the banks refused to give Nigerians more than £2,000, and these people had hundreds of thousands of pounds in their account in Ghana. The banks refused to give money, and these Nigerians were in huge migration crisis. So as this happened, within that period they were auctioning things in Ghana. Life was good because Ghanaians were rushing, buying Nigerian product as cheap as possible. Everything came down. The moment a Nigerian left, life became hell for Ghanaians. The crisis Ghana faced, the hardship all the way to that of the farming period of Ghana started when Busia passed this alien compliance law. The effect on Ghana when the Nigerians moved out, cocoa price fell. Okay, and also Ghana lost cocoa production from 50% of global production to 30% because the Nigerians were the one doing cocoa farming. The prices of goods doubled because the Nigerians were the ones who made it possible for the prices to be cheap. And when the Ghanaians were left to do businesses, they wanted to be rich as quick as possible and double the prices. And also transportation became a problem because most of the cars were owned by Nigerians. Nigerians had invested in transportation system. So this was the problem. and loss of jobs because the businesses and factories and cocoa business, the farming were operated by Nigerians who had employed people. These people had left and jobs were lost. Okay, businesses collapsed. Ghana was in disarray. This was the start of Ghana problem that finally led to Ghana having famine. We would come to that for a latter part. What was the negative effect on Nigeria? Nigerians died. Yes, people who were in detention because the government held lots of Nigerians, and so some of them died in detention. What again? Nigerians lost houses, lost cars, lost businesses, money. The banks could not allow Nigerians to take more than 2,000 pounds from the bank because they didn't want this money to go. And these Nigerians had hundreds of thousands of pounds in their banks in Ghana. This was a problem. When the Nigerians returned, some were hoping to see back their loved one, but they had only to be greeted by the news that they had died in Ghana. This was a bad thing. Alien compliance law was what led to Ghana to fall in those periods until in the year 1985 when J.J. Rawlings went to Babangida to renew relations with Nigeria. That was when Ghana and Nigeria saw peace. Within this period, there was nothing like peace. So J.J. Rawlings moved to Babangida to make peace. But even when J.J. Rawlings moved to Nigeria, things were worse. Things were terrible for Ghana. Not until when President Kufuor became president of Ghana, year 2001, Kufuor moved to Nigeria, went to Nigeria and pleaded to the then president of Nigeria, Obasanjo, in the words of President Kufuor, not me, that Obasanjo is a gift to the African continent. Why did President Kufuor say this? Because when the economy of Ghana was in shambles, Ghana went epic, meaning there was no money in Ghana. When Ghana was scattered, when the ones you call foreign donors, development partners, America, the Britain, you name it, all countries rejected Ghana. Nobody was there to come to the aid of Ghana. But Nigeria, and President Kufuor ran to Nigeria and laid down to Obasanjo. He didn't feel Obasanjo would help to say that, okay, we'll resume supply of gas to Ghana to supply electricity. When he went, Obasanjo surprised him. Obasanjo did not only ask Kufuor that they should resume gas to supply to Ghana immediately, but also push the payments to almost 4 years back and also reduce the price for Ghana. And not only that, Obasanjo actually gave $30 million United States dollars to Ghana to buy cars for the police. I know that money was rejected by Obasanjo in Nigeria because Nigerians were blasting him as the president of Nigeria, but it is true. He helped Ghana. He assembled investors to come to Ghana to invest in Ghana. That is how come the infrastructure of Ghana today, housing, is at its peak. They're one of the best in Africa because the Nigerians came with their wealth, with their money to invest in Ghana. And Ghana is where it is today. And I will tell you, Nigeria has done a lot for Ghana. This I know most Nigerians don't know. That is how come President Kufuor, who ended saying that Obasanjo is a gift to Africa, named from 37 roundabouts, 37 to that of Achimota Forest as Obasanjo Highway in Ghana. This is as a result of the tremendous effort and help, aid from the people of Nigeria, from the government of Nigeria to Ghana to help boost Ghana's economy. This is history. We must not shy away from it. There is so much between Nigeria and Ghana. Why we must put asunder our fight? Why we must put asunder blaming one another? Let me tell you, one of the reasons is Nigeria and Ghana started fighting for AU together with Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone brought this fire to Nigeria, brought it to Ghana, boiled Nigerians and Ghanaians, Nkrumah inclusive, the ITA, Wallace Johnson and the rest, that you should fight for your independence and let's form Africa Union, which is, by then it was Organization of Africa Unity. Nkrumah championed it in Nigeria. But the white man skillfully came to Nigeria and told them, do not allow Ghana to head AU. And they went to Ghana and told them, do not allow Nigeria to head AU. The reason being is they knew these two countries were powerhouse in Africa. Nigeria had immense wealth, so also is now Ghana. If these two countries could blend their wealth together, I'm telling you, there's no way Ghana and Nigeria combined would not be able to give aid to other African countries.
You can see it. See it. This is what the Igbo man have got to go through. We've been going through this. After the Nigerian Biafran war, they gave us 20 pounds. After the billions and billions upon billions of pounds of Igbo people's wealth in Ghana, Nigeria must go. Who were there? It was Igbo businessmen, investors, who made up of up to the 90% of the investment in Ghana then. And they had to let everything go. They have started again, then they have built and built again. Ghana want them to also go again and forfeit their wealth again. Then you, the Igbo man that have refused to use your brain, shame unto you. Shame unto you. How many times will you pass through the needle eye? How many times will you pass through pain? Can't you come together and organize yourselves? Can't you have unity of purpose? Can't you pursue your goal and for once and for all and forever have your own home so that you stop wandering all over the world? Come together, use your head. Use your head, again, an Igbo man. You need to use your head. That's my message. I'm gonna call him no name because if this is your first time of joining us, kindly hit the like button, hit the subscription button, subscribe. Help us also share this video to get to the people who need to hear it. Yes, share it until it gets to them. Drop your comment as well responsibly, and remain blessed. Yes, we will be bringing to you again. In the next video we are bringing today again, it's going to be about what our Igbo brothers are doing. Yes, it's going to be about how we are responsible for our problem. So do good to also join us again. Thank you. Bye for now. Akpanakpana Sukwo, still Biafran Radical Freedom TV, BRF TV. Thank you.